Coach Jason here at the Armory. Wanted to make a quick video on arm care. Okay? There are a lot of arm care programs, the Throwers 10 being one. I think there's a fantastic product called Arm Care. If you want to, put up the money to buy the device that goes with it, I think it's a fantastic product that goes with something called crossover symmetry. We don't have that here at the Armory, but I do my own version of some of those exercises, and I wanted to show you a couple of them that I think are important for any overhead athlete, especially youth baseball pitchers. Now, this applies to softball pitchers. It applies to any overhead athlete from volleyball as well, tennis, but certainly your stick and ball sports, softball and baseball. All right, so one of my catalysts for this is that not only do I want to show you these exercises for in the gym, I'm going to show you a couple ways to do them and talk about them, but I also show you there needs to be more of this, in my humble opinion, at the field. So if you're going to play, some of these tournaments are guaranteed 8 now, but if you're going to play a lot of tournaments, especially if especially a baseball pitcher is going to pitch more than once, softball as well, but certainly a baseball pitcher more than once in a tournament, doing some post-game arm care and even some activation before is a very good idea. Now, I think, again, this goes for any athlete that's stick and ball, not just your pitchers. Think about how many throws are made, warm up and then hard throws in games potentially, but certainly warm up and just the whole activity of playing the game. If you played 5 or 6 games in the course of 2 days or more, that's a lot of wear and tear on the muscles of the arm. So we want to make sure that we're maintaining these muscles well. So again, I'm going to show you the context in the gym that can be done, as a training in order to build the muscles up before you go to the field, and then an example of when you're at the field. All right. So exercise number, my favorites here at the Armory. It's using a strap, but you could use this using a band as well. You could even use it different types of bands with tubing. There's all kinds of ways. I'm just showing you the movement pattern, and you can get creative maybe in how you actually execute the movement. I call it rotisserie chicken. I make up these names so the athletes remember them. But the idea is that you get long to start. Your body is one piece of steel. The closer you move your feet to the cage, the harder it is. Okay, so you don't want it to be too difficult, but you also want to have tension on at the top when you finish the exercise, so it doesn't just flop around. You don't want the strap slapping around at the end. You want tension all the way through, because then you can do the progression. So reach out long, pull. My cue is show your muscles up at the beach, like you're trying to show off your biceps at the beach, that kind of elbow height. Okay, and then rotate at the end to get those external rotators. Those muscles in the back of the shoulder, those are the ones that get abused. Typically, when you talk about a shoulder injury in pitchers, that's where it comes from, right? Is that those muscles in the back? It's the stopping that causes the damage, not the accelerating. So it's the stopping muscles, those little muscles in the back of the shoulder that are responsible. Now, there's some bigger muscles as well that over the top of those small muscles of the shoulder that this exercise also targets. So that's why I like it so much as a kind of a complete, as close as you can to a complete arm care exercise. Okay, rep range 3 sets roughly. It's at 8 to 15 reps. If you get over 15, you can go ahead and kick the feet in a little bit further, make it harder, or get a band that's a little more difficult. Now the progression here is going into a Y raise, so doing the rotisserie chicken at the end, really external. It's not about pulling back so much as getting to that point where you're level and then rotating hard. Push up into a Y pattern, and the real benefit of the Y is watch to make sure shoulders don't smush, but also on the way down, controlling the movement with a swooping movement. Okay, really working another big muscle, which is our lats, controlling that movement pattern, again, protecting the shoulder. So that's exercise number 1. Exercise number 2 is a simple one. Most people have done this in some way. I like the version I am showing you here of the external rotation. There is the one where you put the elbow close to the side and rotate, but if you do it right, that requires a pad or some sort of space between the elbow and the body. And the tendency is when I see athletes do this, they tend to extend their elbow instead of rotate. And so having the elbow up and rotating is a little bit easier. You can keep an eye on it. You can support it, like I've shown, with a hand on the elbow to keep that elbow stable. Okay, but rotating through that all the way. Okay, it's small muscles, again, back of the shoulder is what we're targeting. Now, this can be done, this exercise, 2 different ways. It can be done a strength type of exercise where you use a thicker band or tubing. This would be non-game day. So this would be like, hey, I'm Wednesday, I'm gonna play Saturday. The purpose of this is to get my muscles stronger, and so the band will be a little bit harder. And so you pull back harder, and then even better, you resist it on the way back in the same way that you control the movement of the rotisserie chicken, right? So that's a heavier, still in the rep range though, of from 10 to roughly 12. You can get as close to 8, but anything over that gets a little sloppy. You're talking about small muscles. I wouldn't get too much deeper than 8. Certainly don't do sets of 6 or something crazy like that. 8 is perfect for the bottom half. For most kids, I would say 10 to 12 is plenty. Now, when you move to game day or pre-game and especially post-game, because blood flow heals, we want to pick up the pace. So you can still have that 10 to 12 rep range, maybe even a little bit higher, up to 20, but the band is light now, okay? And the idea is to move fast, move really fast, really get a lot of good blood flow in that throwing arm in particular, adequate blood flow to help it heal. All right, next exercise, I call these the archers. If you have a small mini band, very similar exercise, I'm just showing you a different way of doing them with these mini bands. These could be taken on the road as well. So we're kind of moving into, you can do these at home, but you can also do these on the road, okay? So you get one of these mini bands, they're like $2. The different, the color scheme typically is the yellow is the easiest, and then you move up. For most kids, we're going to do this primarily as a recovery tool, so the yellow is going to be sufficient. For your younger kids, it'll be a strength band too. Kids get older and you want to do more strength work with it, then you can get in a little bit higher bands, but don't get too crazy with these. You still want to make sure you're doing the full range of motion. So you post up the arm like you see in the video here, and then you can do it a variety of ways. You can do the rotisserie chicken style, you can just do a face pull, okay, and then you can even go up into the Y raise and sweep down as well. So that's a way to get this exercise in that's very much portable, okay, as compared to the straps. The last thing is on the road, if you're not going to use the mini bands, which I think the mini bands are an awesome idea. If I was a coach, I would take a bag of these suckers with me everywhere, and we would do this pre-game light and post-game light after every single game. Just throwing arm too. You don't have to even do both. It would take all of 30 seconds to grab a band, rip these out, put them back in the bag, and then off you go. All right, the next one though is I'm using more of a traditional band and just fastening it to a fence. Same idea here. You can do all the different types of variations, rotisserie chicken and external rotation. Again, the idea in the game day though is these are light bands moving quickly. These are not heavy. This is not the time to do the strength work. Strength work is done 2 to 3 days out from the actual competition. Those muscles, you're trying to prepare them for the competition, that's a good idea. Do that. But when it's game day, when you're on the field, okay, then use the lighter band and go for speed to get, again, blood flow. We're after blood flow. It's kind of like sprinting for your arm. Get light sprinting for your arm, and that help it heal. The third exercise I wanted to talk about, and this example is in the field. You can do this anywhere, though, with, again, a stronger band. It has different names. I call it a lat prayer, single arm lat prayer. And this is working the lat primarily. And so get the arm long again. You simply with a long arm pull the arm back, having the hand pass the midline of the body. So you get over the top, and now you're going to go all the way back behind. But you start with the arm straight out and pull behind, really activating the muscles of the lat to help pull it down. And it might take a little practice, but that again is an important muscle when we talk about the deceleration of the arm. So again, this is an example on the chain link, but you can do this with the straps. It takes a little more setup. But certainly with a heavier band or something like this indoors, this is a great one to work in as a strength exercise as well. Whether you do the mini band version or you do the traditional band version, I highly encourage your athlete or your team or whatever, whoever it may be, to use these bands during the tournaments. And then if you have a TRX, great, but you can do the same things, these exercises with heavier bands, do those during the week before. So Monday and Wednesday. And 3 sets is plenty for any of these exercises. If an athlete is doing 20 reps after pitching, a couple sets will do. You just want to feel like you got a lot of blood flow in that area to help that arm recover. Then before the game, maybe a little bit less reps, but the idea is, again, high velocity. So these bands are like, we're talking like the 5 pound of resistance. Really, really light. Again, the yellow mini bands, whatever the brand is, just keep it really, really light. All right, I hope that's helpful. Coach Jason here at the Armory. If you need advice or help with your programming, look me up. You can give me a text at 801-918-4192 or just message me. We'll talk to you soon.